When Hampton Callaway performs classic American love songs in cabarets, not only are audiences mesmerized, critics everywhere turn to mush. And there's nothing worse than a mushy critic. In a field of performing that embraces very few, she is unquestionably at the top. Hampton Callaway. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's great to see you,
Great
Roger.
to see you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, we're 1 year old here. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 year. When you were on the show about 6 months ago, I think.
That's right. Yeah, it was lots of fun.
Well, every 6 months we'll have a birthday and have you back. I'd like to have you back. What have you been doing since? You're doing a show this weekend, I guess.
That's right. I'm at Avery Fisher Hall doing the Jazz Festival with Bobby Short and Margaret Whiting and a bunch of great people.
Wow. That's great.
And my sister and I are starting to put a show together for Rainbow and Stars, which will be in September for 2 weeks. So.
That's at the top of the Rockefeller Center building, NBC.
Right.
And
it's even in another decade. It's sort of the 1940s up there.
It really is. It's very Art Deco, isn't it?
Right.
It's great. The entire complex is going broke, but not Rainbow and Stars.
No.
I mean, the office buildings are not doing well.
Really?
No.
Oh, no.
I think we sold it to the Japanese. One of the few deals we made with them where we didn't get screwed, I think. But it was, but I think they're losing. I think instead of us losing money on this one, I think they're losing money on this one. But anyway, we won't talk about that anymore because...
Back to cabaret,
Back to cabaret. Is cabaret alive and well, or is it dying out, or is it harder to work these days, or what's going on?
Well, I think cabaret is really on the rise. I think that the great American songs are always going to live, and cabaret is one of the main venues where they live. And so because people love this music, it seems to me that more and more opportunities are all over the country are coming about.
Is cabaret a well-known term across the country in major cities? In other words, in New York, we know what cabaret is, and it's a place you go, and performers work for, you know, sometimes not a lot of money in the little ones, and in the big ones they get paid well. But
yeah.
Are they alive and well in other cities, or just in New York?
I think most of the major cities have something resembling cabaret, but it's the kind of thing that we're really on the brink of something really serious starting to happen. And it's really, I think as theater becomes more expensive, cabaret is starting to look more appealing. A lot of theaters are saying, oh, we want to put a cabaret series together. And so I've been doing a lot of theater work across the country, and it's really delightful. But it's a little bit of an education process. I mean, a lot of people see the word cabaret and think Liza Minnelli, and that's a nice thought.
That's true.
So.
I'm going to throw you a little curve, but I know you can handle it. Michael Feinstein was on my show recently. He was telling me about a song that Sarah Vaughan sang, and I remembered that you do a Sarah Vaughan impression. Can you do me a little Sarah Vaughan?
Look at me, I'm as helpless as a kitten of a tree.
That's good. How do you get it? How do you get the impression? Do you just hear it? I mean, you have to hear it, or do you work on the vocalization and the...
Most of the impressions I do sort of happen naturally. You know, I grew up listening to great music, and when I was a kid, I did a lot of these imitations, and so as an adult, I do a lot of the things that I just naturally did, you know, fooling around the house listening to these great records.
You know, the other thing that impresses me about you is you write. Now, I heard you wrote something very quickly. You write very quickly, I heard.
I
What'd
do,
you write?
and since I heard it was your 1 year anniversary, Roger, I wanted to congratulate you, so I wrote a song aptly titled Roger Ailes.
Okay, let's hear it.
Our country had George Washington to make our nation strong, and now there's a new founding father for whom I wrote this little song. Roger Ailes, you must be filled with glee. You got America talking from sea to NBC. I've got a crush on you, I confess. So does America and the press. Me, oh my, oh, to think a guy from Ohio could be so cute and have such success. Roger Ailes, there's more. Happy birthday to you. Are you blushing? We're celebrating your first year across the red, white, and blue. George Washington was grand, but you're the bee's knees. 'Cause I know you wouldn't chop down any cherry trees. Happy birthday, Roger Ailes.
Thanks. We'll be right back. You're going to hear her do some of her real cabaret work in just a minute. Thanks. That was great.
Thank you.
She's very funny. All right. We'll be right back. Hampton Callaway. This is the CD. You can get this, that's one CD, and then I'll show you the second CD. Here it is, Hampton Callaway. Are these generally, do you go around and check the music stores and make sure they got your thing? Because when I wrote a book,
yes.
I went to every bookstore. I went in there and said, where's my book? I'd always go in and pretend I wasn't me and say, do you have a book by Roger Ailes?
Occasionally, though, they do know that it's Roger Ailes or Hampton Callaway.
Yeah, they do.
Feeling.
In West Palm Beach, there's a Barnes & Noble, and they're all friends of mine down there, and I go in there all the time. And I always, you know, because my mother lives down there, and I go down to see her, and so they know me. So I can't go in there anymore and pretend I'm somebody else. I wear disguises occasionally. I go in and dress totally differently and ask if they have my book, and they usually say no. But if it's me, they keep one under the counter, so they. I say, oh, of course we have your book. Would you like to buy it, sir? That's the way it really works.
Yeah.
Did you really work in a wedding band at one time?
When I was preparing to move for Chicago, from Chicago to New York, I worked in a band called Annie, and I sang wedding songs as diverse as Tie a Yellow Ribbon and Lush Life. So it was
Lush Life at a wedding?
Yeah, we did. We had sophisticated jazz musicians, so we tried to sneak in all the good stuff whenever we could.
How about somebody said you did Beer Barrel Polka? Do you still do that?
I don't have that in my repertoire anymore.
You lost it.
Although I've been known to dance a good dance in a wedding, though.
Have you? Do your friends all ask you to play when you go to parties? Does that bug you?
No, I love it. I mean,
you?
Actually, there's nothing more fun than getting a bunch of people together. Like Liza Minnelli has parties at her house, and it's the New York, you know, that you always dream of. That, you know, those movie scenes where everybody sits around and sings the great songs, and we make up stuff. And whenever I have a party at my house, it's always 3 in the morning with songs and stuff. It's great.
When you work in cabarets, do drunks come in and kind of hit on you, or do they just sit there and slobber or tell you their troubles, or what do they do?
In the old days, when I was more accessible, they did, and I hadn't learned the word no yet. So I care for everyone. But now I'm a little bit harder to reach. You know, I'm still. You know, I do more serious shows in very, very posh rooms in New York, and so it's not quite as easy to say, you know, your whole life story to me unless you are very close to me.
Are you that kind of person that people do tell you their troubles? You have very sympathetic eyes, so I think you look like the person who they come in and start telling you his tale and goes on for hours.
I like to hear people's stories, and I think being human is one of the most difficult things to do, and so I find it very fascinating to hear what everybody's going through, and
well, that's good, because after the show I wanted to tell you my life story. I actually thought I'd just start. You know, I was born in a small town in Ohio.
When you were born, you were very young.
I was very young. My mother was there because I didn't want to be separated. But no, I was going to tell you my whole life story. I always wondered about that. I want you to do, because this is America's birthday, and it's also America's Talking birthday. I know that you've planned something for us because I asked them to ask you to do that. Would you go ahead and do that number for us?
Yes, this is a song that many people have sung, and I wanted to do it in my own way, and so this is for you and for our country.
Thank you.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray,